Oh shit. DNA upgrader, creator. Oh, I am a maker. And I'm popping knowledge, but I'm bringing it with flavor. Get your paper. Watch out for them haters. Meditate, drink water, and just keep on elevating. I'm just saying, bringing mantras and mudras. Spitting like Confucius. Eating all the apples, leave the tree of knowledge fruitless. Demon, hand, but heart of Buddha. Multi-face like Rudra. Connected all together like medulla. Medusa, hiss. Energy, flow.
Well, all right. Yahsinni is in the house with Jillian the Wurd Witch Brown. And today we've got more scientifics for your ass. And today we're going to be talking about grounding, but not how you think. So I'm excited to learn more about this subject. I mean, I know about grounding already, but I didn't know that I can do it without putting my feet on the ground. So, Jillian, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're going to be breaking down scientifically and spiritually.
Absolutely. Peace, everybody. Thank you for having me again. So I am Jillian Brown, also known as the Wurd Witch. You can check out my information on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, my SoundCloud music under the Wurd Witch.
Okay.
Thank you. Under the Wurd Witch. And yeah, I'm here to talk about the science of grounding.
All right. So, we think of grounding, we think about putting our feet on the ground. I recently found out that you can ground mentally. And that's what I need to know more about because it seems like it's right up my alley. How do we do it?
So, absolutely, right? I want to take you into mentally, but before we get to mentally, just starting off on grounding regularly, you know what I'm saying? Which
Okay.
is putting your feet, your palms, or even your whole body on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Skin to earth contact. What's interesting is that we all know that we are carrying electricity.
Well,
We all know that we're carrying electricity in the body. We've all touched the door and shocked ourselves, right? So
absolutely.
when you are thinking about grounding regular electricity, yes, they'll ground it into the earth, right? But
Right.
I don't know if a lot of us remember, but back in the day, right, a lot of older people, when they would get like a pain or where they'd had an injury or something, maybe their knee, they would be able to tell us when it's going to rain. How
Right.
you do that? Are you
Yeah.
the weatherman? But what that is right before it rains, there's a kick up of positive ions in the air, in the earth. Like for me, I don't feel it so much as a pain in my body, but I can definitely feel the thickness, and it feels like a kick up of increased electricity in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And right after it rains, some people say they love right after it rains, they love the smell, everything. There's been a
Mhm.
huge release of negative ions. So when
Right.
you're grounding, which by the way, uh, increase in disease and pain and inflammation in the body is correlated with a larger amount of positive ions in the body, while the
True.
earth is filled with negative ions. So when you ground, you're going to exchange the same way we talked about last week about energy exchange from person to person, with you being hanging around 5 and you being the 6th. When you ground, this is going to be an energy exchange between you and the earth. You know what I'm saying? And so it's going
Mhm.
to basically draw out the excess positive ions and fill you with negative ions, which is going to give you that after
Right.
rain feeling that you like. When people love being by beaches, waterfalls, that's because these areas are filled with negative ions. So this is why a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they be like, yes, I gotta go to the beach, I just gotta go lay out, because you're subconsciously already connecting that this is healing for you. It's not just fun, but it's healing.
Right.
So when I began to ground, right, this was a mental health technique. because not only are we talking about the exchange of energy from positive ion sense as far as diseases go, if you have anxiety, um, stress, grounding can
Mm-hmm.
help to balance cortisol levels. Remember last week we talked about cortisol and stress hormone
Yeah.
and how this can change the shape of your face and have you to hold on to weight around your stomach. Balancing
Mm-hmm.
can help you to balance out your cortisol levels. If you are having insomnia, if you go ground in first light, this is going to help you with your insomnia. Like
Correct.
grounding is fire. It's amazing. There's not a crazy amount of studies on grounding, but the ones that exist are quite amazing. So the same way we were talking about last week about the Maharishi effect, and they took markers in certain places before and after. They've done certain blood level tests with people before they grounded and afterwards. And what they found is that there was increased red blood cell fluidity afterwards. There was less clumping. Therefore, they understand that grounding actually assists your heart health. Grounding can help
Mm,
with your immune system,
of
right? So
course.
um, when people's heart rhythm is not right, they put in a pacemaker. This is something to electrically control, right? The impulse that's being
Right.
set off by the heart. So what they're explaining basically as you begin to connect the dots is that you connecting with the earth is going to keep balance with your electrical system. Now, I'm not saying that grounding by itself, you know what I'm saying, is going to there's the body works with homeostasis. So we just can't be eating crazy and then walking outside barefoot and doing everything else in the world and thinking we're going to be okay. But it is definitely a part of one of the things that we can use to assist with our healing. I wrote down a couple of notes here. They found that it reduces blood pressure levels. Um, After grounding, like I said, the cortisol levels, it also affects pain levels. So there
Mm,
were a bunch of massage therapists that had, you know what I'm saying, quite a bit of pain because this is what they do on a regular basis. And they did certain studies with them with grounding and found that they had less pain and less stress when they were finished. So, um,
wow.
I mean, personally, when I began to ground, um, I would talk about how I felt the magnet inside of the earth. And I don't know, it started, yes, with just my feet, and then me just sitting sometimes outside for like hours. And I would refer to the grass and the sun and the trees as my therapist because it was really just
Mm-hmm.
calming me out. It was like really balancing me out. And then eventually I got
Mm,
to just like laying out. I'd just be laid out
right.
and I would like fall asleep out there. And when I woke up, I'd be like, oh my God,
Right.
yes. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I definitely found this to be something that works. I remember a few years ago they had this term, they'd be like dirty foot, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
barefoot all the time. I mean, it is what it is. And you
Absolutely.
know what's funny? When you see a lot of those people that have like a super amount of money, they be dressed in sandals a lot. They be dressed
They
with their feet
do.
open. I
Yeah.
mean, so I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, but it's interesting. And then if we look at it in terms of, for instance, Ayurvedic, right? Information, and it shows how on
Mhm.
the bottom, the sole of your foot is actually locations where they, you know what I'm saying, they can press and have contact with certain organs in the body. So when
Mhm.
you are grounding outside and you're connecting the soles of your feet to the earth, this is really, really helping to pop off energy in the body, and can help you with your mindfulness, can help you with your stress levels, can help you with your immune system. Like I said, the blood pressure, the heart health, to
Yes.
keep to keep you balanced. So grounding, period. And it's just amazing to me um, that I don't know that so many of us don't feel like the superb connection to the place that we live at. You know what I mean? And
So
it's just
can we
amazing. Like
can we overground?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I mean, because what, you know what I'm saying, what is overgrounding? If we look at a time period before there was all of this like smart technology and stuff,
Right.
a lot of us were just outside. We just worked with the earth, and that was just
Okay. Here's why I ask. Because when you were describing what's taking place with the negative ions in the earth and the versus the positive ions all over the earth, that I found that same thing when I was doing my research on distilled water and why it used to be recommended that we don't drink the distilled water. That's because it's all negative. It's all negative
mm,
ions. And so
mm,
drinking it, we used to believe that drinking it would like bleed or deplete minerals and all of that kind of stuff. But I found that if you use the distilled water like not all the time, but say like when you're detoxing or something, like for a 2 week period or whatever, it's actually good. And then the doctors start coming out and saying, yes, you can drink distilled water. So why it was hidden from us? Because for one, it's healthy. It's just like grounding. You're gonna put those negative ions inside your body to equalize all the positive ions in there, or maybe to balance yourself, or for wholeness reasons or whatever. But it sounds like the same thing. That's what we're doing on the ground too. We're through our foot pores or footology, the negative ions are going in, and they are all of those organs are accessible through the sole of the feet and the palm of the hands. And
absolutely.
so, and that's why I ask, is there such thing of overgrounding? Because it seems like if you drink distilled water all the damn time, then maybe that's excessive. But I agree with you that there's no such thing as overgrounding with your feet on the ground, unless if you're walking on some ground that's bad soil, or got crap all over it and stuff like that. So even, do you find that there's places that you go to ground, like to the beach where there's sand, or how are
Oh,
you doing your ground? Are you just going outside with bare feet
so
when you're
yeah,
doing it
I'm
physically?
outside in my backyard a lot, bare feet. Nighttime,
Mhm.
where I've seen plenty of like snakes out there
Oh
every day.
yeah.
It don't even matter. I'm out there. However, yes, there's like a place that's super wooded, super amount of trees, and I don't know that the energy over
Oh
there
really?
is just amazing. So I like to ground there at times. Of course, the beach. I'll bring some of the salt water home with me. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
but yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Of course, like you don't want to be like grounding where a bunch of animals are using the bathroom or something. But
Right.
other than
Like in the
that,
city. Like in the
well,
city.
yeah, I'm sure.
Well, some
So
parts of the
right, there are grounding mats. There are actually
yeah.
adhesive patches, things like that. They've come out with that can help you to ground, and
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it as a like a constant replacement for just the earth because I mean, to me, I'm not just only grounding the negative ions, but you're picking up information. You're picking up information from the earth, like you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
The more you connect with it, this is why some people like do tree hugging. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I mean, if what we're breathing out, the trees are taking in and then
Mm.
breathing out what we need. There's an obvious
Yeah.
super connection there. But but we did talk about also grounding mentally or psychically, right? So
Okay.
um first of all, psychically, right? I don't I'm living in living in Florida, I'm not super familiar with cold. So the few
Right.
times that it's gotten cold here, or if I visited places that were cold, I'm not necessarily walking outside barefoot to do it. You know what I'm saying?
All
But
right.
while you are meditating, if you were to, we all know that imagination is powerful, right? Imagination is super powerful.
Oh yeah.
And the more
So
that you can link that to sensation, you'll begin to understand the things that you can experience simply via your mind simply via your mind. Um,
Mm.
And so if you were to consider yourself as a tree, and that the trunk or the core of your body is the trunk, and imagine like that your roots are going down to the core of the earth, and even imagine them as like orange and digging deep down into the core of the earth. And if you were to imagine that there are branches springing from the top of your head with your
Mhm.
guides, you know what I'm saying, angels, whatever it is that you know what I'm saying, on them, you'll begin to feel yourself literally grounding into your psychic energy, into it powerfully. Like I just said it
Mm.
and I'm already feeling like, you know what I'm saying,
All
the
right.
energy popping off.
Right.
Yeah, it's so I mean that's definitely way. But now when we're talking about grounding mentally, this could be when you are um going through your character development and you are realizing, right, that you're taking on certain values and releasing others. So when you're going to ground a principle into yourself, this is something that you do like out of integrity. It doesn't matter who's watching. This is just becoming a part of your character. And so this is going to be grounded into who you are. You know what I'm saying? This is the integration of what you have learned through your experience and whatever else, and how it is you wish to show up on this in this world. You know what I'm saying? And the more that
Right.
those things are grounded into you. So, for instance, right, the more that I began turning towards my purpose and just deciding, regardless of reactions and what was happening, that no, this is what it is. It just became more and more grounded into me until the point where I was able to go into shadow work and pop off music and emerge
Right.
out as the Wurd Witch, as the odd octopus. You know what I'm saying? These things that were from right within,
Mhm.
by grounding myself into um the truth of who I am, and just deciding to show up like that. But you know what I'm saying, we do understand that some people are like struggling with that because they're not grounded in who they are. There's a lot of
Right.
uh epithets about being grounded like a tree, so that when the storm comes, you know what I'm saying, the branches and the leaves may go in the wind,
Right.
but a firmly rooted, you know what I'm saying, trunk isn't going to really be moving all over the place. So once you're firmly grounded in your ideas and things like that of who you are, it's harder for things to come in and influence you, period.
Mm.
So
Wow.
um I don't know, grounding is like I said, it is definitely a mental health technique. It is a physical body healing technique. It is something that you can
Mhm.
do psychically. And the more you practice and decide to ground in mentally who you are, it just becomes how you firmly root yourself. So grounding is fire, period, all the way around.
Right.
All the way around.
Right. I can see a million advantages to doing that. And although we've heard the cliches before, I never really looked at that as mentally grounding. But it
Hmm.
is. That's exactly what it is. And
Absolutely.
so do you have to first get to know yourself before you can ground yourself? I mean,
Okay, so right as I've been on this journey, I began with the music like 3 years ago, right? Before that, I had no idea that was even in me. I literally had no recognition of
mhm.
of that part of myself. So I didn't know that about myself when I was grounding. I would say that the more that I began to ground into myself is the more that I could even tap into things like my confidence and my confidence to be able to bring those things out.
Mm,
So I would say quite possibly grounding can help you to know yourself. You're going to sit with stillness. You're going
yeah,
to, you know what I'm saying, not have
right,
access. Now, what's so funny is um we're talking about grounding your own electrical signals. And I talk a lot about my experiences with electromagnetic fields and things like that.
right.
And it's funny how a lot of people um, understand Wi-Fi to be an invisible, you know what I'm saying, an
Mm,
invisible electrical source. But then when you talk to them about other things, like they look at that as spookism. It's the same. It's the same
right.
thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So, um, Wi-Fi, for instance, can retard children's growth. It can
Absolutely.
put up an EMF field, right? That can negatively affect people. And we are walking around with 5G and towers and things all day,
Right.
cell phones in our
Right.
pockets all day, sometimes on the phone all day. You know what I'm saying? And these things are affecting the body. They're
Oh,
affecting the brain, the radiation, all of that. So
yeah.
to take moments away from that and to go outside and decide that you're gonna connect with the earth with and so that basically if the earth is giving off negative ions, it's got its own
Mhm.
type of Wi-Fi going on. You know what I'm saying? It's got its
And-
own type
yeah,
of
for sure.
communication and electric field that it's pulling off. When I got to grounding and the sensitivity exploded on me, I would talk about the magnet that was in the earth a lot. And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, when I would lay back, I would literally feel like I've begun to spin slowly, right? Which some of us, when we go to meditating, you feel that you tap into like this electromagnetic field, and usually it's like a counterclockwise spiral, and
Mhm.
involuntarily you'll feel it, right? And they talk about how the earth has a pulse. That's what Schumann's resonance is.
Mhm.
And how when Schumann's resonance is affected by things like solar flares and energy that we're getting in off these transits, and that energy can affect us. The energy from the moon affects us. All of this, right?
Sure.
So trying to figure out, yes, and ground what your ideas are, your thoughts, and who you are with all this communication going on all the time, I think is actually a
Mhm.
must. Is actually a must. Like it's best. I'm not gonna tell anybody what they need to do, but it's definitely helpful. Um,
And so, does grounding, physical grounding, take practice? Because I notice when I'm walking around with my bare feet, I always get the same reaction from others, and that's that they can't do it because there's sticks on the ground, there's rocks on the ground. I just keep it moving. I'm like, I don't. It never stopped me from grounding, but it do stop other people from grounding. Like
mm,
because I'm gonna be under a tree most of the time when I'm grounded anyway. Then of course sticks and branches and small pieces of the tree are gonna be on the ground, rocks and all kinds of stuff be down there. I keep it moving. It never
yeah,
ever stopped me
yeah.
from grounding. But it do a lot of people I know. And
Well,
so do they just need to practice and get their feet tougher or something, or are they just
uh,
scary or don't
possibly, and
understand the
then a
science?
lot of them don't even understand it, and a lot of
Right.
people is just follow fashion. So, excuse me, it's not something that they're probably used to seeing right now, right? Which is interesting. With with how society has taken us. You know what I'm saying? And like I
Mhm.
said, though, a lot of times when, you know what I'm saying, you're around people with a whole lot of money, they sandaled out. So for the most part, their feet are open. You know what I'm saying? They wanna have some type of connection to the ground. I don't know if it takes practice per se. I would not the grounding part because anybody could just make a decision at any time to take their shoes off and walk for 15 minutes and go ground
Mhm.
outside. But I do think what takes practice is um or time or patience with yourself is just to because at first, right, if you have a nervous system that again is used to just popping off stuff all day, you're on your phone all day, you're on your devices all the time,
Mhm.
you come away from that device and you go outside and you sit still, 3 minutes seem like 6 hours. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like
I
you
know
want to
the
check your
feeling.
phone, you want to do all types of stuff. So I think it just takes temperance and time with yourself to get into mindfulness so that you can actually
Mhm.
begin to physically tap into the sensation of the benefit that you're receiving from doing it. It takes like grounding actually assists you to be in the current moment, in the current moment. So yes, you know what I'm saying? But again, that takes a little bit of focus. So
And
um
also,
it's
Also, that equates to when we're eating foods from the ground, because they're coming with the same ions that's in the ground, and that too can help balance all the toxicity that we put in our body and
Absolutely.
positive ions surplus.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we also talked about last week how one of the ways that you get an energy vampire is somebody who has an abundance of free radicals. Um,
Hmm.
it can be an energy vampire on one end, right, of a spectrum, and then this can end up being um, super disease like cancer on the other end. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But free radicals age you. Free radicals, remember, are the atom that's missing its electron. So grounding
Hmm.
also helps to balance out free radicals. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So any of those um those atoms that are missing electrons, you're gonna balance yourself out. So ultimately, yes, this is about balance of yourself. So I think that most people have no idea about our relationship with the earth and that standing on it barefoot for
Hmm.
15 minutes can do that. I remember I had a friend a couple of years ago and their life was just it was just constant like by the time they got off work, I don't know, they couldn't even go home and not have like a whole group of people sitting there waiting. It was just, I'm like, God damn. Like I remember one day I
Wow.
was like look, let's go out by like these trees and stuff, and they were like fighting like because
Right.
they're just used to like moving. We went and sat out there for a few minutes, and they were like,
Hmm.
I was like, yeah,
Oh my God.
just chill
Oh my
out for a
God.
second. People have forgotten how to chill out, and
Sure.
yeah, yeah, and the earth can definitely help you to do that, and it's fire, it's amazing, and it's crazy that not only are we missing the information about the connection that we have with the earth and how deep that is, but we're missing the connection of even just listening to our own bodies a lot of the time.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for the
Yeah.
mates to perceive this relationship on the outside of themselves because they're having a problem perceiving the relationship with the inside of themselves. So,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? The weird looks is it's all good. You know why you're doing it, and the
Right.
benefits are there, and it's proven. We're talking
And
about
and I think more people know about this to be true than we think. Because if you go look up grounded mats on, say, like Amazon or
mhm,
whatever, there's so many,
yes,
and they're quite, I won't say expensive, because that's, that's according to your pocketbook, but I say like the cheapest one is like $30, and it's just like maybe a 5x5 and
exactly.
shit. And then there's ways that you ground too. Like some of them have a plug that goes into the wall, a three prong
Hmm.
electrical outlet. And that
Yes,
third prong is supposed to be at the ground, but you can test it with a meter to make sure that that is ground. So you just plug it into a wall. You plug your pad into a wall, put it on your bed, and probably get the best sleep ever.
absolutely,
and and,
absolutely. I'm
and then
actually thinking
too,
about getting
another,
one.
some people you can buy a kit where that's got a long enough cord, or you can extend the cord to outside your window to where it's actually in the ground. Now,
Wow.
so the first time I saw that one, this is what I thought about. Well, what if it's lightning outside, and and then it strikes that area and it flows through that cord? Uh, so I started looking at like the safeties of that kind of stuff, and decided that it's probably better that I just go ground the natural way with my feet on the ground, which is what I really love to do, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
grounding
yeah,
mats are
this,
fire. I've definitely been thinking about getting one. It was actually the friend that I have that's a hypnotist that first told me about a grounding mat. I had no idea. I was like, oh, that's pretty fire. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even if, you know what I'm saying, during you live in a space where wintertime it's just not feasible to do that. These are options that are available
right.
now with the technology that we have, and that's pretty fire. It's pretty
So,
fire.
I'm suffering because I'm in Wisconsin with 3 inches of snow out there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I can't
You gotta
wait
get
for
up
the
in your
snow to
grounding
be
mat.
gone.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can
Yep.
imagine.
So
One of the other interesting things that I found is that there are a couple of studies about wound healing and going out grounding and how it accelerates the healing of your wounds or wound or repair. You know what I'm saying? And so,
right.
yes, when we think about certain gadgets that we use to help, right? So interestingly enough, what I've been doing recently, because I during this whole journey, I was able to start tapping into different healing modalities, and I was just like amazed. Like we have so many ways that we can heal ourselves. It's amazing. So I love tuning forks. Tuning forks are fire,
Ah,
and
shit.
I've been going outside recently, and then I sit and I ground, and then I use the tuning fork on me. And so it's tuning me like I don't know even deeper into the earth. So I'm just using the
Ah,
combination of
you got to show
receiving
me
my
your method.
okay,
You got to show me your
absolutely,
method one day with your tuning fork.
absolutely, absolutely. But right, so if we're looking at ourselves as an instrument that is able to conduct right this energy, there's also I'm gonna link it and send it to you. But there is a talk by this guy, and he's talking about how healing
You
is
see it?
voltage. Yes. Oh my God, I love tuning forks. They're amazing. I have been using them for quite a few things. So my daughters recently, sometimes if they've had really bad cramps or something like that, I was taking the tuning forks and putting it like right on their stomach, and they told me it felt like it was just breaking up whatever
Mm,
was causing the cramp, and they no longer had the cramp.
yeah.
One day I had a super headache, and I was like, and I was like, ding, and my
Oh my
headache was
goodness.
gone. And I was outside grounding, and I was like, yes, fire. So, right, if these frequencies, brain waves, think all these types of things are going off, if they're not in alignment, right? This can be causing all
Yeah.
types of feelings or ailments, which shamanism teaches all physical ailments start from something like emotional. And our thoughts and emotions can be
Right.
affecting literally how we be feeling about ourselves. The first book I wrote, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was so angry. I was so angry to the point where I just knew it was not healthy. I was like, you have got to go change your condition immediately, right now. Like
Wow.
I felt it. I felt it. I was like, you're gonna have a stroke. You're gonna fuck yourself up.
Damn.
Like this I was 38. Okay. I was all right. I was in a position that no, just no. And what's funny is I knew about grounding at that point in time. And I also knew about getting it out of me. You know what I'm saying? Whether that was journaling, talking it out, whatever. So I remember I took my book and my pen and I went right outside to my backyard and I sat down and I expected to pour out everything about the situation that I was going through at the time and how I was purposely being placed under a severe amount of mental pressure. And when I put that pen to the paper, that is not what came out. What came out was my first book. And it was just pouring out of me.
Oh
It was just
wow.
it was just pouring out of me. And I was like, and when I was
I
finished,
was gonna say ooh shit came out or superfly.
yeah, it did. It did. It's amazing. And this is why, like I said, like it's a mental health therapy. This is, I mean, I that to me to this day that is so fire. Like I literally thought I was just gonna, and I was ready. I was ready to pour out just everything that was happening that I was coming to awareness of, that I was waking up. That's why I was so upset. I was just like, oh my God, what is that? What is happening? And
Right.
that's not what poured out of me at all. My entire first book
Wow.
poured out of me. Just sitting outside in the grass, in the sun,
That's
being
crazy.
grounded.
Do
You
you
know what I'm saying?
do you write any of your songs while you're grounding now?
Oh my goodness, a lot, a lot.
Okay.
There was one
Okay.
month, I think I released like 8 songs one month. I think it was like maybe it was like mid 2022, 23, one of them. But I mean, and I would just be outside. I would just be outside.
Damn.
I would just be
Yeah.
outside. And yes. So, right, again, allowing that flow, allowing the yin and the yang, the electric and the magnetic field to just flow within me. And it just kept producing these things. Um, so again, you know what I'm saying? I definitely am not recommending grounding as a sole practice, but definitely as one that we can
Mhm.
incorporate into our practice.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
when I meditated inside, it's definitely a different feeling and tap into when I'm doing it outside. And
Hmm.
I remember like one of my most fire. Listen, one time I was grounding so hard. I was grounding so hard outside and meditating. Um, some of us have been able to tap into the magnetic field so deeply that when you are meditating outside, you may actually begin to experience the feeling like your limbs are raising. Okay,
Right.
like
Right.
like like real honest shit involuntarily. And I don't know, I'm so deeply tapped in that I'm standing up and my eyes are closed and my head's just kind of leaned back. I remember I felt something like over my toes. And I remember like I just looked down and it was like a snake right over my
Oh
toes. And
shit!
I was like,
You
oh, it's a
called it.
snake. I was like, oh, it's a snake. And I went right back to meditating. Like it was not,
Ah,
I don't know. I was so deeply tapped in that I was not bothered by it. I
wow.
just wasn't bothered by it. I remember when I was done, I don't know, that was a deep meditation. It must have been something I had tapped into. Because when I was done, I had to go sleep. I was just,
Damn.
it just relaxed. It just took everything out of me. So I remember coming upstairs to
Can
get
that
sleep. I'm
can
sorry.
I make a comment about that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was reading somewhere whereas like everything that comes into your view, and we don't know this is what's happening, but actually it has a deeper meaning behind it. Say I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my window, and a crow lands on the roof for 1 second or whatever, and then it goes. So then you go look at what does it mean if you seen a crow, or what do you mean if you see a snake, or what mean? Did you ever get into the because I know you're deeply into the mental and spiritual. So I wonder if you think that those are little omens or little signs of something, or like, do you call that snake self consciously?
So I absolutely look at things as being super symbolic or as forms of communication. I put up a post today and said I'm into cosmic communications. That is my field. So yes, like um, the more I began to tap in and began to correlate the synchronicities between the symbols that I was receiving,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. The animal totems are always speaking to me, like always. Um, as a matter of
Mm.
fact, I used to feed the birds as a part of a writ for the bird's eye view. So I could get, you know what I'm saying? If you have a higher
All
perspective of
right.
something, it can help you to see down. And so um depending on how you see everything here and understand that we're connected to it, yes. Like sometimes if I walk outside right now, it's nighttime and it's quiet at first, and then all of a sudden the birds just start carrying on. They telling me. They telling me. They telling
Yes.
me what's up.
Yeah.
Like it's you know what I'm saying? So how deeply and these are things I feel like are considered when I tap into them. I call them the old ways because I just feel like it may sound whatever to people, but again,
Mm-hmm.
when we go back right through spaces and time, we see examples of these things. We they it's not nothing new. It may just look
Mm-hmm.
weird because society at this point in time is not, you know what I'm saying, is not holding that up. But it's nothing new.
Right.
It's nothing crazy. It's just that some of us, like, however we are coded is to work on that. You know what I'm saying? Work by that. Or to be able to tap into that and to be able to bring things to the fore. So absolutely, absolutely. I see. I used to say cosmic communication is constant. It's always going on. Always going on.
Mhm.
Um,
Wow.
even
Yeah.
even when I've been in situations where um like I wasn't recognizing a threat properly or paying enough attention to my intuition.
Mhm.
The right? If I wasn't paying attention to like even my own body responses or interpreting them correctly because of whatever, it's amazing how I would get external messages as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See a dead frog walking up on the driveway, like, what? What's up? Like that. It's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like out of nowhere. Things
Okay.
like that. Yeah, you'll get the messages. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people just don't pay them attention or they
Yeah.
don't see any connection between them. They don't see connections between numbers. They don't peep connections. So it's hard for them to
Mhm.
get their messages. You know what I'm saying? But spiritual messages and that's why I think that because due to the decrease of the stress and the calming effect that you can get from grounding, I also do believe
Mhm.
that it can definitely help you to tap into hearing your spiritual messages more clear. So, you know what I'm saying? Because you're
Yeah.
having less chatter going on. It's a lot less stuff going on. So you just sit out there connected with the earth and it starts balancing you out. Now you can hear. You
Yeah.
can hear. You
Absolutely.
can hear.
And
You know what I'm saying? You can see.
imagine playing some soft music in the background that's calming also. I mean, you could really dive into something deep
Oh man.
uh
Oh man.
sitting out under
When
that
I
tree.
Yes. When I used to go out and like charge my crystals under certain moon phases, I would be out there late at night with a blanket and tea leaves on the corner of the blanket with the crystals out there, and I'd be done fell asleep.
Right.
Woke up 3 o'clock in the morning like I'm outside camping in my backyard for no good goddamn reason. You know what I'm saying? And then just I don't know, and
Oh, that's
it just elevated my mood. Like I was
yeah.
just chilling all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the
Right.
time,
And
just
then
from grounding.
somebody will come along and see you glowing and you know, start
Oh yeah.
hating.
Oh man.
But
Oh man. The rocks be charged up. I be charged up. Everything. Everything. And I'd wake
do
up
you
like,
ever
oh,
do you ever go out in person while you're glowing and like strange people will recognize you, like a Eddie Murphy moment when he
oh
was
yeah.
standing in the line at the bathroom and then these guys just start bowing to him like he was some
Oh yeah.
king. They
Oh yeah.
okay, you do.
I've had all types of situations. I mean, yes, so right, the light is magnetic. It's magnetic for people. So and I mean,
Right.
listen, I don't know. I've tapped into some. I had a friend that once told me he was like, draw the yin and yang symbol, but without that middle line touching. Even just thinking about it, this thing is popping off my brainwaves. Ooh, but he was like, that line in the middle is God, and if you look at it, it looks like a flowing river or serpent, right?
It does.
He was like,
It
put your
does.
hand on top of it and take a deep breath in. And he told me where to circulate it. When I say I did that and it circulated and it popped something, it was like all my senses exploded. When I went outside, it was like the trees. I don't know. It was like everything was communicating, vibrating so hard. I was like, oh no. I was like, wait. And
Wow.
and he was like, yeah, touch your palm to the earth. Touch your palm to the earth. And when I did that, I'm telling you, like the community, I don't know, the connection, right? And they show you these
Damn.
things like an avatar. What did they do? They would take the tree or the animal, right? And they would connect their hair into into it, right? And they would feel this communication and be tapped into this tree that had all this
Wow.
information from all of their ancestors, right? And so boom, if you know what I'm saying? like this earth is holding so much information. The trees are holding so much
Oh
information.
shit.
So when
For
you
sure.
tap into that, yes. And I mean, so I tapped into the earth and it helped to balance me out a little bit, but I'm still like, I'm floating. I'm floating. And I went out that
Okay.
day and I promise you, people was giving me money. People was just walking up to me. Like anything I walked in the store, it was like buddy was trying to give me the store. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you tap in. So, right? Okay, so I know a lot of us is coming from Christianity, right? And they say Jesus walked the earth and didn't have nothing. He was just walking around the earth and being given everything or
Right.
producing it, walking around on the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, when people consider if they're going to take these things completely literally, right? If people consider
Mhm.
the biological change in a human that they would have to be able to do things like turn water into wine or walk on water
Mhm.
or raise the dead or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
This is a biological change somebody's going through.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you begin to tap into those things? And if he said, "Ye two are gods," you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to
Right.
perform works greater than I did. How would you tap in?
Absolutely.
You would have to probably when it says know thyself, you have to really
Yes.
understand yourself and how your body works and how you could pop off certain biological responses, right? We talked
Mm-hmm.
about last week, I do believe we did. There's a book by Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief.
Mm.
And this begins to show that the thoughts that you have through epigenetics can actually affect your gene expression,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
So I practice things like Reiki and quantum touch healing. And these are known, measurable things where someone can draw a symbol and drop some energy and send you healing energy states away,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
Quantum touch healing is simple. Quantum if oh my god, I remember us teaching the children to do it. Anybody can do it. And it's literally that same breath and that same electricity that we talked about
Well,
that you have
go ahead
sometimes when
and
you touch the door.
break that down. Quantum touch
Um,
healing.
quantum touch healing.
Quantum.
So it is a way of connecting your breath to the electricity that you have in your body and learning certain breathing techniques so that you can
Mm.
basically keep the conduit with you in source, right? So that you can um, draw up that energy and learn how to direct it through your hands. And so,
Right.
right, I don't even touch people when I do it. I usually have my hand like, you know what I'm saying, about an inch, 2 inches above them. And some people
Mm.
begin to feel super heat. Some people feel cold. Some people feel shocked, other types think, right? And this is the energy that we have available in our energetic field. But most of us are
Mm-hmm.
just not aware. We're just not aware. So we don't do it.
Mm.
Most people have no idea what is actually available to them. Literally,
Right. Yeah.
just as their body is a resource. There's something that I'm actually getting ready to share on my page, and it is a video of an ancient Chinese healer or a man, and he's doing like a specific hand movement, and this hand movement and things is meant to affect and push vibrations to the liver and the kidneys. Montauk Chia talks about how
Mm.
there's certain sounds, or right, he does a really good thing on it. I don't think he's the one that came up with it originally, but there are 6 Taoist healing sounds, right, that
Mm-hmm.
you can say after rubbing your certain body parts, and these things are going to cause the organs to ring off and
Mm.
start vibrating and heal them.
That's pretty
So
deep.
a lot of people we're just not tapped into
So
the understanding of ourselves
the
truly.
vibration, the vibration itself is doing the healing on the liver.
Well, absolutely, because if we talk about certain energies being stored, right,
Mm-hmm.
or captured there, and it's causing an issue, if you're going to vibrate, you're going to shake
Oh
it off.
yeah.
you're going to begin
Yeah.
to heal it. So again, if the earth has its own pulse, Schumann's resonance, and so this means it's
Hmm.
also giving off a vibration. It's giving
That's
off a
right.
vibration. So when you go stand out there and you ground, you're going to be tapping into the vibration of the earth. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I don't know, like I found, yes, the more I ground is the more that I have creative ideas, is the more that I have
Hmm.
energy, is the more that I have the space mentally to do it. Um, they have done studies and found that people who have been through certain hard traumas, that this helps with flashbacks. This helps them not to have as many flashbacks. I was like, what? Like,
Right.
man, the similarly, right? The earth has a pulse. There's a specific psychologist. He began to put people who were having severe PTSD in like a drum circle with a bonfire in the middle, because they found that staring at the flame, sitting outside and hearing the drum, right? Because the first thing you ever heard was your mother's heartbeat. Sounded like a drum.
Right.
So when they start doing this, everybody's heart literally begins to entrain in the circle and all of those things. So right, isn't that what we did in the in the old times? We
Hmm.
just had different modes of
Absolutely.
healing. We had different ways of, you know what I'm saying? And we saw ourselves more in a whole, I think, and more of a wholeness more than a fracture. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, seeing a specialist and thinking that, you know what I'm saying, it's just so many things that we can tap into. And like I said, grounding is definitely one of the things that we can incorporate into that, so that
Hmm.
I don't know, we can just be tapped into the magnetic field of the earth so we can understand. What's interesting too, right? They talk about certain tribes being able to tap into this with their grounding so deep that this is how certain tribes knew to move to higher ground. They would feel that kick up of the
Hmm.
positive ions and understand there was flood coming. We need to move.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So we're talking about communication coming through the airwaves of the earth and understanding it and being tapped in it so much and into the intuition, right? And understanding and interpreting that to the point where these people understood to move.
Right. Yeah.
So
Time for an
some
exodus.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why, you know what I'm saying, you see a kick and so many people just really wanting to be able to tap into um their messages and their cosmic information so that you understand how to move when things are getting ready to occur
That's right.
and ready to happen.
Mm.
And that grounding was a part of all of that. They had to be
Yeah.
tapped in to themselves and into the earth to be able to interpret those messages. And I just think that that's fire. And those who weren't got washed away. You know what I'm saying?
Have,
That's
have
just what
you
it was.
ever read the Essenes Gospels of Peace?
No, I
Any of
haven't.
those? It's four
Um,
books, and man, they talk about the tree as your brother. I mean, the Essenes is so esoteric and hush hush. They don't even, the powers that be don't even want you mentioning the Essenes.
I need to
And
get
that's
it.
why nobody heard of them or know they exist. They so secret. But the PDF is online for free, and it has all four books in it. And
Okay.
the books is, unlike the Bible, is there's nothing fear in it. There's nothing. The stuff that is telling you to worship is the tree and the air, the
Mm,
wind, the ground, the Mother Earth, the sun, the moon. It is so totally contrast to the biblical teachings, but it's just as important. There's life-saving stuff in there, and it's recognizing all of nature in those books. So
mm,
while they give us just this one book to focus on, there's some great stuff that our ancestors was into. And the Essenes Gospels of Peace is like a must read for spiritual people, because we have no way of looking at this stuff like that without that kind of knowledge to even
I'm gonna add that to
register.
my
Like,
book
oh
list
my
for this
God,
year. Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna send you the PDF. In fact, one of my songs, I, the Holy Streams of Life. I'm reading the Essay and Gospels of Peace, book one.
Ah,
That's
okay,
a reading.
okay.
That's not my writing, but and I do that a lot. I'll just grab these archaic ass texts and scripts like the Coburn book, which is the Black Bible from 30,000 years ago. So it's one of the oldest things, but it's so esoteric knowledge and nobody is gonna ever promote it because it's so fucking awakening. So the Coburn
Yeah.
book, the Essay and Gospels of Peace, the Secret Book of John, that kind of stuff is what I'm deep into. And I get the same kind of enlightenment out of it as when I'm grounding or when I am hugging a tree and stuff like that. So just thought I'd mention that. Yeah.
Okay.
But great
Okay. Well, I'm
topic.
glad to
And
know we both be barefoot babies because I should. I'm barefoot
oh, I
all the
hate
time.
shoes and socks. I'm
Me
not lying.
too.
I hate shoes and socks. I do. I don't like that material. I mean, in fact, I don't like clothes or none of that shit really. I'm in the t-shirt, tank top or whatever and shorts all day every day unless I'm going somewhere. And the second I get back, it's back to the cotton. I don't like the silk and all that other stuff. I don't like that on my body. I don't like it sweating in my pores and none of that stuff. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, right. So
I would have been
even the
happy as
clothes
hell.
are given. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even the clothes are certain clothes are definitely trapping in the vibration, and that it might be. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Yeah, it might be that much of a genius communication that you're feeling. Why when you put on certain, you know what I'm saying,
hmm,
materials that it just doesn't mesh with you, and you just know it that it's not.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because it'll come
yeah,
down to the communication of yes, I don't like it, and I think that's just fire. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah,
right,
you interpret it, and a lot of the clothes that you know what I'm saying is on a lot of these apps and stuff is polyester, and if you look up what that does, you know what I'm saying, it's
and
definitely
some of the stuff that we be talking about, I think, is innate because I don't know why at 10 I didn't want to wear those shoes outside, and I always had to be told
absolutely
to go put your shoes on. I don't know why that is. But as I got older and nobody could tell me to go put my shoes on, I don't wear them. I
you
don't
just
like
knew
buying them. I don't have 10 pairs of Nikes in my closet.
you
I
just knew
got one or two pairs of shoes because I don't fucking wear them. I don't. If I have to go in the store, I'll bring my shoes with me. I swear to God, you ask my friends and shit. Uh, I'll say, "Oh, we finna go," and I'll grab my shoes with me because I know to go in the store I have to put them on. But other than that, I'm barefoot. I
yeah,
am.
yeah, I understand completely.
Also, it's not always good to be barefoot like I am. There's some downside to come with it. I mean, if I'm grounding, that's all good. But sometimes walking around, in the city and under concrete and stuff like that with your bare feet ain't good. And that's why I have to ground a lot. I have to constantly be getting these negative ions in my body because my feet
Absolutely.
is always touching something. My bare feet are touching something all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
and that's why when you said grounding mentally, I said, I gotta learn this because right now I'm stuck in a house because of the snow and all. So
Oh man, I can imagine. Yeah, I definitely got to look into like one of the grounding mats for the winter season. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah,
But yeah, the grounding psychically when I couldn't get a chance to go out or you know what I'm saying, it was just too um
yeah,
rainy or we had a storm. I would just be in here grounding psychically, and I would literally get to the point where I'd envision myself as a tree, and it just every time I
right.
envisioned it, the tree was bigger, it was larger. So,
Oh yeah,
So that's definitely something that you can practice. And if we understand that the universe is mental, then anything that you continue to send practice into, a ritual, whatever, it becomes stronger. Becomes stronger. It's going to
Right.
become, yeah, a pillar
Mhm.
within you. So, so
Absolutely.
yeah. So get out there and ground, people. Like it's
For sure.
you want clearer spiritual messages, it's gonna help you. You want to help with, like I say, your anxiety. If you have racing thoughts, anytime I've had racing thoughts, I'm outside.
Mm.
I'm like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
time for me to go outside. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we gotta
anytime
be
I
our own
didn't,
doctor.
yeah, anytime I didn't, ugh, it's amazing. It's
Right.
amazing. How that mind can work, you know what I'm saying, and how much
Yeah.
energy and effort we really do got to put into realizing like that, you know what I'm saying, we can pull the reins to control it, to do what it is
Mhm.
that we needed to do. I would tell people all the time, my
Yeah.
brain is my bitch, not the other way around. So you have to, yeah, you gotta pull the reins in on that motherfucker
Right.
sometimes.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. You are the
but
word witch.
thank you,
For
thank you.
sure. For sure.
So my apologies. I do gotta run. I know we were having some
Oh, it's
issues
been a
earlier with our
blast,
camera,
Jillian.
but thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
can't wait to see more of your sciences. Just let me know.
Okay.
I'm always
Awesome.
available for
Awesome.
you. You know that. Thank you
Awesome.
for being on Yahsinni in the house. Peace and
My
love to
pleasure.
you and your
Peace and
family.
love.
All
Peace and love.
right. When I was in the Matrix, I was young and I was free. I had very little responsibilities, or at least they were unknown to me. Cause when I was in the Matrix, I was carefree. I said I was carefree, living in the Matrix. And I was still asleep, living in the Matrix. And I was just a lost sheep, living in the Matrix.